All right, so today we're diving into Sean Diddy Combs' real estate holdings.
Oh yeah, this'll be fun.
Yeah. And specifically, we're going to be kind of looking at some of the properties where he's alleged to have thrown those controversial freak-off parties while he awaits trial.
Oh boy.
And the timing is really kind of interesting because he's still trying to sell his LA mansion for a whopping $61.5 million.
Wow.
But at one point, an investor did offer him less than half.
Really?
So what is going on there?
Yeah, what's the deal with that?
Yeah?
To really get a handle on this situation, we need to start with the properties themselves.
Okay, so let's go to the Miami compound first.
Let's do it.
He's got this place on Star Island, which I hear is super exclusive.
Oh, it's incredibly exclusive. We're talking about an island where billionaires like Ken Griffin and celebrities like Alex Rodriguez own homes. So Diddy buys his first mansion there back in 2003.
Okay.
For $14.5 million.
Okay, still a lot of money.
Which is already a hefty sum.
Yeah.
But then get this. In 2021, he buys the mansion next door. For $35 million. Wow, it's almost unbelievable.
So we're talking about a $48.5 million compound in Miami.
Yes.
And this is actually the property that he tried to use as collateral for bail, right?
Exactly. But the judge denied it, saying he was a flight risk. Oh, wow. I mean, the mansion even has its own boat dock.
Of course it does.
So you can see where the judge might have been coming from.
Makes sense to me. If I had Diddy's money and they let me out on bail, first person I'm calling when I touch down is some of my Haitian drug trafficking buddies to bring a boat to come scoop me at the house and get me the hell out of here. But let's move on to the property he's trying to sell.
Okay.
The Holby Hills mansion in Los Angeles. This one seems to be at the center of the controversy.
All right. This is a big one.
Yeah.
It really is. He bought this place back in 2014 for $39 million.
Okay.
It's massive, 17,000 square foot estate, 9 bedrooms, and a lagoon-style pool.
Oh my goodness.
The kind of place that's built for entertaining.
Sounds like it.
It does.
And this is where things get really interesting. Diddy listed this house for $61.5 million in September, and an investor offered him $30 million for it, less than half the asking price.
That's crazy. What do you make of that?
Yeah, what is that about?
Well, it's an incredibly low offer, and it definitely raises some questions.
Yeah.
This investor is known for buying properties with controversial pasts, like Kanye West's Malibu beach house.
Oh, right.
Which had been left in just terrible disrepair. So it seems like he's willing to take risks on properties that others might shy away from.
So is he just trying to snag a deal, or is there more to it?
That's the million-dollar question, right? Is he betting he can kind of erase the stigma associated with these alleged freak-off parties and then flip the mansion for a profit later?
Oh.
It's a bold strategy, to say the least.
Yeah, it is. All right, let's talk about these parties. What exactly are the allegations and how are they connected to these properties?
Well, the authorities are claiming that Diddy hosted these parties at both the Holby Hills and the Star Island homes.
At both?
And they're described in these legal documents as, like, elaborate.
Wow.
And produced sex performances that allegedly involved coercion, drug abuse, and sex workers, allegedly.
Oh, wow. Okay, and what kind of evidence have they presented to support these claims?
Well, during the raids on the properties, they're reporting that they found drugs, guns, and enough baby oil to fill an Olympic-sized swimming pool.
What?
Yep, over 1,000 bottles.
Oh, wow. Diddy likes to party, but you got to tell him no.
It's worth noting that Diddy has denied these allegations, calling them meritless.
Of course he has.
But the legal battle is ongoing. It's a pretty serious situation.
Do you think these allegations are what's driving down the value of the Holby Hills mansion?
It's definitely a factor. I mean, potential buyers are probably hesitant to purchase a property with such a controversial history, even if the allegations are ultimately proven false.
Yeah, that makes sense. It seems like this situation is putting Diddy in a tough spot. He's facing a trial, trying to sell a valuable property, and dealing with all this negative publicity.
Absolutely. And there's another wrinkle to this story that I think is worth mentioning.
Okay, let's hear it.
Diddy actually paid off the $18.8 million mortgage on his Miami mansion just before his arrest.
Now that's interesting. Why would he do that?
Well, it seems like a strategic move to protect his assets.
Okay.
In case of legal trouble, Florida has a Homestead Act, which protects a homeowner's primary residence from being seized in most circumstances.
Oh, so he was thinking ahead, even amidst all the alleged partying.
So by paying off the mortgage, he basically shielded that property from potential creditors. He knew all these lawsuits were coming.
It's a reminder that even for someone like Diddy, legal and financial considerations are never far from mind. Even if your idea of fun is making everyone at the party take their clothes off and get covered in lubricant, allegedly.
Precisely. And it brings us to another key question. How much did these alleged freak-off parties really impact Diddy's overall financial situation?
Right. That's a great question, and to answer it, I think we need to look at Diddy's other real estate holdings.
Was he truly living beyond his means, or is this just a blip on the radar for someone with his level of wealth?
He's owned properties all over the country, right?
He has, from New York to New Jersey to right here in Atlanta. Diddy's real estate portfolio over the years is pretty impressive.
Let's dive into those properties next. Maybe it'll give us a better understanding of his overall financial strategy and how these allegations might impact his empire.
Sounds like a plan. After all, every property tells a story. And in Diddy's case, those stories seem to be intertwined with both luxury and legal drama. It really is fascinating to look at how these properties reflect, different stages of Diddy's life and career.
It's true.
For instance, he once owned this beachfront retreat.
Oh, wow.
In the Hamptons, which, really kind of fits that image of a music mogul at the top of his game.
Totally, but then there's the Toluca Lake property.
Yes.
The one he bought for Kim Porter, the mother of 3 of his children.
Right.
And that story has a much different feel to it.
It really does. It's a reminder that even amidst all the wealth and the extravagance,
Right.
there's a human side to this story.
Yeah.
Kim sadly passed away at that property in 2018.
Oh, wow.
From pneumonia.
That's incredibly sad. It's easy to get caught up in the details of these mansions and these legal battles, but it's important to remember the real lives involved.
Absolutely. And while the Toluca Lake property holds a lot of emotional weight,
Okay.
there's another property that speaks volumes about Diddy's business acumen.
Okay, what's that?
A condo overlooking the Miami skyline. He purchased this condo at the height of the real estate boom.
And
Sold it a few years later for a significant profit.
so he's not just buying these properties for show, he's actually making strategic investments.
Exactly. He's demonstrating a shrewd understanding of the real estate market. And then there's that mansion in New Jersey that he reportedly tried to sell for years before finally finding a buyer.
It sounds like he's had his fair share of wins and losses in the real estate game, just like anyone else.
Just like you and me, right?
Exactly, it humanizes him a bit, doesn't it?
It does. He's not just this untouchable icon.
Right.
He's someone who's made smart and maybe not so smart decisions when it comes to real estate.
It makes you wonder if those decisions, especially the ones related to those freak-off parties, are going to catch up with him in the long run.
That's the big question, right?
Yeah.
Will these allegations tarnish his reputation to the point where it affects his future business ventures?
Yeah.
Including his ability to buy and sell property.
Especially with that lowball offer on the Holby Hills mansion.
Right.
It seems like potential buyers are sensing an opportunity to capitalize on Diddy's current situation.
Yeah, it's certainly possible. The investor who made the offer has a history of buying properties with controversial pasts and turning them around for a profit. Remember the Kanye West Malibu beach house?
Oh, yeah.
West had essentially gutted the place. It looked horrible.
Right, I remember.
And that buyer swooped in, bought it for a fraction of the original price.
Wow.
And is now restoring it.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that story. It was a huge controversy because the house was so trashed, Kanye must have been on drugs when he tried to decorate it.
Yes.
That property was a design disaster.
Yeah.
Diddy's mansion, on the other hand, is still a stunning property. So was this investor really trying to get a steal? Or was he underestimating the lasting impact of these freak-off party allegations?
It's a gamble, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I mean, if he can successfully rebrand the property and detach it from the negative publicity of all that baby oil, he could make a killing.
Right.
But if the scandal continues to make headlines, and potential buyers are wary of the property's past,
Yeah.
he could be stuck with a very expensive liability.
It's like he's betting on Diddy's future, isn't it?
It is. Or the lack thereof.
If Diddy can clear his name and move past this chapter, the mansion's value will likely rebound.
Right.
But if things go south,
Yeah.
that investor might end up regretting that lowball offer.
Exactly. It highlights this interconnectedness of wealth, reputation, and real estate.
It really does.
Diddy's wealth allowed him to acquire these extraordinary properties, but his alleged actions have now put those properties at risk. His reputation, which was once a major asset, is now a huge potential liability that could impact his entire real estate portfolio.
It's a fascinating and complex web, and it raises a crucial question. What does this all mean for Diddy's future in real estate?
Well, that's too early to say for sure. But one thing's for certain. This entire situation has put a spotlight on the potential consequences of unchecked wealth.
Okay.
And the importance your reputation plays in the world of high-end real estate.
That's a really good point. Yeah, it's a stark reminder that even for someone as wealthy and influential as Diddy, actions have consequences, and those consequences can extend far beyond the courtroom. What you do in the bedroom can affect the value of your real estate portfolio.
I couldn't agree more.
Okay, so we've talked about the Miami compound, the Holby Hills mansion, and even some of Diddy's other properties.
Right.
But I feel like there's still something missing here.
What's that?
Something that might help us understand why these freak-off parties happen in the first place.
Okay, what do you have in mind?
Well, we know Diddy's incredibly wealthy and successful.
He is.
He's got this amazing real estate portfolio. He's a music mogul, a fashion icon. Right, so with all his money and so much to lose, what's the motivation behind these alleged parties?
Yeah.
What's the end game here?
That's a question that, psychologists and sociologists might be better equipped to answer.
Okay.
But I think it speaks to a larger issue of power dynamics and the culture of excess that often surrounds fame and fortune. Sure, when you have immense wealth and influence, it can distort your perception of reality. Boundaries become blurred, and you may feel entitled to certain things regardless of the consequences.
So you're saying that Diddy's alleged actions could be a symptom of a larger societal problem?
It's certainly a possibility worth considering. We live in a culture that often glorifies wealth and power and kind of turns a blind eye to the abuses that can occur when those things go unchecked.
It's a sobering thought, and it makes you wonder if this kind of behavior is more widespread than we realize.
It's definitely something to think about. But for now, we can only focus on the facts as we know them, and let the legal process run its course.
Right, so to sum it all up,
Okay.
we've got Diddy, a hip-hop mogul with a penchant for lavish properties. Facing serious charges related to these alleged freak-off parties, he's trying to sell his LA mansion. But an investor known for buying controversial properties has made a lowball offer, perhaps sensing an opportunity amidst the scandal.
And as this legal drama unfolds, Diddy's vast real estate holdings are hanging in the balance, potentially serving as collateral damage in this complex and troubling story.
It's a reminder that even the most impressive real estate portfolio can't shield you from the consequences of your actions.
And that the pursuit of wealth and excess can sometimes lead to a very dark place.
Well, that's certainly a thought-provoking note to end on. Any final words of wisdom for our listeners as they process this deep dive?
I'd say be mindful of the power dynamics that exist in our society.
Yeah.
And always question the motives of those who wield great wealth and influence. And if you're ever at a party and the host brings out bottles of baby oil and drugs, run.
Excellent advice, and as always, stay curious, keep asking questions, and never stop diving deep. But on a more serious note, this whole deep dive has been really eye-opening.
It has.
And it shows us a lot about people.
Think so.
It's a reminder that even those who seem to have it all can be brought down by their own choices, and that those fancy things can't protect us from the consequences of our actions.
Yeah, I agree with that.
This has been a wild ride. I'm still thinking about everything we've learned.
Me too.
But before we wrap things up with Diddy, I have one last thing I want to share. Okay, we've talked a lot about Diddy's properties and how these allegations are affecting him. But what about the people who are allegedly involved in those parties?
Yeah.
Their stories haven't really been told. And I think it's important to remember that behind all the headlines and legal battles and even the jokes, there are real people who might have been hurt.
That's an important point. It's easy to get lost in all the drama, but we can't forget about the people affected.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So as you continue to follow this story and his upcoming trial, I hope you think not just about the houses and the millions of dollars, right? But also about the people whose lives have been touched by this whole scandal.
Well said. It's so unfortunate. It's a reminder that even in the world of celebrity and wealth, there are real human stories that we should pay attention to.
Absolutely. And on that note,
Yeah.
we'll leave you to think about all the different aspects of this crazy story.